Hey, you guys. All right, so we are up to Man's Way. I'm going to have some tea. Look at my pretty teacup. Isn't it pretty? Look at that. I didn't even spill any. Can't believe it. My tea keeps getting cold, so I keep having to refill it because I'm so busy reading to you guys and then I'm posting it. All right, so we're going to finish book 2 today. That doesn't mean you have to finish it. If you're enjoying this and you're listening to one chapter a day and doing your journaling, that's fine. If you're listening to all of them at once, that's great too. Okay, whatever works for you. Man's Way, page 95. I couldn't sleep that night for worrying over that horse. If I shut my eyes a second, I saw him standing there in the corral. If I kept them shut any length of time, I saw him throwing Joe against the fence. A cowboy to fall is no disgrace, but I had dreamed of this horse even before I saw him, and that did worry my mind. The next day, I made pretend I was sick, and I asked them to let me go see the doctor. Joe wanted to drive me in town, but I told him I wasn't that bad. He told me to take Ella with him, but I told him I wanted to go by myself because it wasn't the doctor, it was the hoodoo in town I went to see. I didn't believe in hoodoo. I never have, but nobody else wanted to listen to me. I wanted to find out if I was dreaming this just because I wanted Joe to stop riding, or if I was dreaming this because it was going to happen. The hoodoo lived in a narrow little street called Deddy Street, and the little town where she lived was called Grady. She had flower bushes all over the yard, but no flowers because it was still winter. Remember, it was February. She had bottles stuck upside down round all the flower bushes, and 2 rows of bottles side the walk from the gate up to the house. Bottles every color you can mention. She had scrubbed the gallery that morning, and she had sprinkled red brick over the gallery and the steps. So don't forget, a gallery is a porch, okay? If you remember when we were watching Ghost of Mississippi, right? The little girl, she had all the bottles on the bush outside her bedroom. And they were in Mississippi, and this is Louisiana. So it might be something that they do down there. She must have heard me stop the wagon before the gate because she answered the door as soon as I knocked. She was a big mulatto woman. So mulatto woman is somebody who has both black and white blood. Okay, so maybe today we might refer to them as light-skinned, but mulatto is the term that was used, okay? So she was a mulatto woman and had come from New Orleans. At least that was her story. She had left New Orleans because she was a rival of Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau was the queen then. You know, nobody dare rival Marie Laveau. Neither Marie Laveau mama nor Marie Laveau daughter who followed her. Some people said the 2 Maries was the same one, but of course that was people talk. Said the first Marie never died. She just turned younger in her later years. Well, from all I've heard, Marie Laveau was powerful, helped and hurt a lot of people, but I don't think she was that powerful. This one name was Madame Gautier. Her name was Eloise Gautier, but everybody called her Madame Gautier. She wore a purple satin dress and a gold-colored head rag. 2 big earrings from the Creole people wear in her ears. She told me to come in. She heard I had come there for special business. She told me to follow her to another room. It was winter and it was cold, and she had a fire in the fire hearth. She had candles burning in every corner of the room, and she had 7 on the mantelpiece. She had another candle burning under a little statue on a little table by the window. She had saint pictures hanging on the wall with crepe paper around each picture. She nodded for me to sit down. After she had put another piece of wood on the fire, she sat down across from me. I had felt a little scared of her till I saw her put the piece of wood in the fire. Then I told myself, well, she can get cold just like anybody else. After I told her why I was there, she asked me why hadn't I stopped Joe in my dream from getting on the horse. I told her I couldn't stop him in real life. How could she expect me to stop him in a dream? You ever try? She asked. I told her yes, I had tried, but he never heard me. It was too dusty or too dark or too much noise was going on or he was too far away or too something else. Wait, she said, before you go another step further, how many children you done give this Joe Pittman? I am barren, I said. So barren means that you cannot have children, okay? That not like you can't, like, don't have children, that physically she was unable to have children. I told her what the doctor had said. Ah, she said, slavery has made you barren. But that is it. That's why he ride them horses, I asked her. That's why you can't stop him, she said. He probably rides for many reasons. That's man's way. To prove something, day in, day out. He must prove he's a man, poor fool. Joe is good to me, I said. Sure he is, my dear, she said. But man is foolish. And he's always proving how foolish he is. Some go after lions. Some run after every woman he sees. Some ride wild horses. That horse gonna kill him, I asked her. Muncha, she said. I looked at her waiting. You want the answer? She said. If it's good, I said. There's just one answer, she said. I looked her in the face a long time to see what the answer was. But her face wouldn't show it. It was quiet in the room. So quiet you could almost hear them candles burning. Not quite, but almost. The fire popped so loud in the fire half, it made me jump. Now I was scared of the answer, and I was sorry I had come there. You can go if you want, she said. I want to know, I said. You brave, my dear? She asked. That mean you gonna kill him? I asked. I didn't say that, she said. But that's the answer, I said. Oui. Oui is yes in French. And you absolutely sure? I asked. I don't give nothing but sure answers, she said. I am Madame Eloise Gautier, formerly of New Orleans, and that's why she got me out. Nothing can stop it, I asked. Nothing can stop death, Muncha, she said. Death comes. A black horse, lightning, guns, and you have grip. Grip, I said? What is grip? Grip is grip, she said. Nothing like it. Can I kill that horse? I said. Can you kill death? Madame Gautier said. Your pitman will stand between you and death. When's it going to happen? I asked. Muncha. Don't you know too much already? No, I said. When he falls 3 times. He's going to fall 3 times? I asked. How do you know that? I am Madame Eloise Gautier, formerly of New Orleans, she said. If he don't get up after he fall the first time, I said. He will, she said. Chief, and don't get up? He will. Even if he must fall 90 times, Chief, he must. So she's saying because he's like the head horse breaker, he's going to get up every single time he falls until the horse kills him because he's the chief, right? He needs to, he's in charge and he's the head one. And so he has to keep getting up. That's what she's saying. Can't you give me something to put in his food? I asked her. She had a little cabinet against the wall and she had all kinds of bottles and jars in the cabinet. Some powder or something to make him sick, I said. If he's sick, he can't ride. You're going to keep him sick? She asked. Till somebody else break the horse, I said. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Muncha, she said. I have told you the horse is just one. If not the horse, then the lion. If not the lion, then the woman. If not the woman, then the war. Then the politic. Then the whiskey. Man must always search somewhere to prove himself. He don't know everything is already inside him. Then he want to die? I asked, because I can't give him a child? No, he want to live, she said. And not just because you barren. Many reasons. Many. But it's in here, Moonsha, she said, touching her bosom. But don't he know that horse can kill him, I said. He don't know that, she said. And he wouldn't believe any man on earth who told him so. He believes a horse is made to be broken. All horses made to be broken, true, but not every man can break every horse. This horse, your pitman, will not break. Your pitman, he got old and fat now. Not the man he thinks he is. He's all right, I said. Moonsha. I know what I'm saying, I said, and you can ask anybody else. We're talking about breaking a horse, Moonsha. Moonsha is kind of like my love, right? Like that's, or what do you need, my dear, right? That's what Moonsha means, Moonsha. Your pitman will not break this horse. Another man will have to do it. If he is true, he will be destroyed by some other horse himself. If he's not true, then something else will take him. It could be Grip. Grip again, I said. Grip can do that, she said. Moonsha, man is put here to die. From the day he's born, him and death take off for that red string. But he never wins. He don't even tie. So the next best thing, do what you can with the little time the Lord spares you. Most men feel they ought to spend them few years proving they men. They choose the foolishest ways to do it. Joe said he wouldn't mind farming if the white man let him farm in peace. I know, Moonsha, I know, she said. That'll be $1 if you don't mind. I want some powder too, I said. I don't want nothing strong, just keep him off the horse. Give me $1.25. While I was getting the money out of my handkerchief, she went to the cabinet. So, let's talk about a handkerchief. We use these today, right? These tissues. This one has Vicks in it. It's really good. I just like smelling it. Anyway, they would have used like a fabric napkin or bandanas, right? You know what a bandana is? And so, because, we see people wearing them. So that's what a handkerchief is. And so she wouldn't have had a purse. So everything she would take when she went out would be in that handkerchief. So that's what she's talking about. So I got the money out of the handkerchief. She went to the cabinet. I saw her opening one of the bottles and dumping the powder on a piece of paper. She looked at how much she had already put on the paper, and she added a little bit more. When did they break the horses? She asked me. Saturday, I said. Early or late? Late, when the people get there. When the cock crows Saturday morning, get up and sprinkle some of this on the floor so Pitman will have to cross it, she said. His side of the bed is best. Go to the corral gate and sprinkle some there while the cock is still crowing. That's a rooster. And that'll keep him from riding the horse, I asked. He will not ride him, my dear. I paid her and left. My powder and my handkerchief, I felt good. All day, I felt good. That night, I didn't sleep. But it was just because I felt good. But the next day, I felt shaky. How did I know the powder was going to work? Maybe she had just given it to me because I was worrying her too much. She didn't take time to pick a bottle. She just grabbed the first one that she came to. Matter of fact, I wanted some powder out of that little green bottle, not the red one. I got more and more shaky. Joe asked me if I was all right. Sure, I'm all right, I said. What you got to be asking me that for? Just asked you, he said. At the house, Miss Clary asked me the same thing. Something the matter with you, Jane? I'm just tired, I said. Go home and come back tomorrow, Miss Clary said. That was Thursday. Thursday night, I didn't sleep all day. The next day, I felt even worse. Go back home, Jane, Miss Clary said. Joe went hunting that day, and I sat around the house by myself. If I lay down on the bed and shut my eyes a second time, I saw that black devil standing in the corral. That night, he went to bed early because the next day was Saturday, the day they broke the horses. Joe was tired from hunting, and he went right off to sleep. The two girls was asleep in their bed. I was the only one there laying awake, probably the only one awake on the whole place. I know I never would get any sleep that night, and I got up and I put on some clothes. I was going to sit at the fire half, but the next thing I know, I was outside. It was freezing out there. Out in the night, clear as day. I didn't know why I'd come out there. I knowed when I got up, that was not in my mind. Now, out there, I found myself heading toward the corral. All the other horses were standing together to stay warm, all but him. He walking around inside the corral like he was just some kind of majesty. When he got a whiff of my scent, he stopped walking and looked up. I stood there looking at him, my arms folded because I was near freezing. The next thing I know, I'd opened the gate and I was in the corral trying to get him out. I was in the corral waving my arms, going, shoo, shoo, shoot. But he wouldn't go near the gate till Joe came there. Soon as he caught sight of Joe, they started for the gate at the same time. He won by a foot and lit out across the field. The ground was frozen. You could hear him pounding the hard ground a mile. Joe came in there and knocked me down. Then he picked me up and throwed me over the fence. I lay down there numb a while, and when I got up, I saw that he had swung upon his own horse and was going after the stallion. I started hollering and running after him. Don't go back on him. Don't get back on him, Joe. The people came out to see what was the matter. When they heard the stallion was loose, they saddled their horses and went after him. I ran after Joe till I came up to the swamps. Then I turned around and come on back home. I sat by the fire half all night waiting for them to come back. Early the next morning, they came back with the stallion and with Joe tied to his own horse. They said Joe had cornered and roped the stallion, but with no saddle to tie the rope on, the stallion had jacked him off his horse and dragged him through the swamps. When they found him, he was tangled in the rope, already dead. The horse still had the rope around his neck, eating leaves off a bush to the side. They waked Joe Pittman that night and buried him that Sunday, and the rodeo went on the next Saturday. Before it started, they toned the bell 1 minute for Pittman. Every man took off his hat. The ladies bowed their heads. Soon as the minute was up, a young boy called Gable got on the stallion. The stallion throwed him, but he got back on. The stallion throwed him again, and he got back on again. He kept getting back on that stallion till that stallion couldn't throw him no more. Not long after that, him and Ella got married and moved to Texas. They took Clara with them. When Joe Pittman was killed, a part of me went with him to his grave. No man would ever take his place, and that's why I carry his name to this day. I have known 2 or 3 other men, but none took the place of Joe Pittman. I let them know that from the start. A couple years after Joe Pittman was killed, I met a man called Felton Burks, who was a fisherman on the sign boat. Felton and his crew was moving to St. Charles River, and I followed him there. That's how I got to this part of the state. Me and Felton lived together about 3 years. Then one day he was gone, didn't say a word. I didn't know he was gone for good, till he didn't come back for a month. But that didn't bother me none. Not long after that, after he left, Ned showed up with his family. Ned's back. That's so exciting. So I'm on page 103, and our next chapter is Professor Douglas. So in this chapter, she meets a hoodoo woman. So there's a couple of things, like if you don't really know a whole lot about New Orleans, Creole people are usually a mixture of French and Black, okay? And so that's why, like in New Orleans, everybody speaks French. And hoodoo is, and you're probably saying, oh, it sounds like voodoo, and it does. Hollywood named it voodoo. The religion actually comes from Haiti, and I can't, I can't remember without really looking it up, but the Creole people had the French influence, and in Haiti, they have a religion called voodoo. And this is what I studied in 1 year. My professor in college was a voodoo priest. And so he taught me a lot about the religion, because I've always been interested in religion. But I'd taken some courses with him on peoples of the Caribbean and a little more on the Haitian culture. It's maybe because of my professor, that's always been like my favorite country in the Caribbean. And I just remember so many things. 1804, they got their freedom. They were one of the first Caribbean countries where the slaves got freedom. So anyway, that's really where this hoodoo comes from. It comes from the Haitian culture. And so Jane goes to see the hoodoo, and she's looking for answers. So again, like I told you, the whole dream analogy piece, there's talk of it. You can see it in your Bible if you're religious. It's in the Old Testament. But for the most part, if people interpreted dreams, it didn't really become popular till, really like the turn of the 19th into the 20th century. So she goes to this hoodoo woman. She tells her about her dreams, and she figures, she's like a fortune teller, really. And so, she's going to be able to tell me what's going to happen to Joe, because Jane realizes that definitely if she keeps having this recurring dream, there's a reason why. And so, I don't know, you can write about dreams. You can write about reoccurring dreams that you have. You could write about how you analyze your dreams, if you've had dreams that have come true. You can, I don't know, I don't think anything we've read has dealt with dreams yet. I don't know. We talk about love. She really loves Joe, right? I mean, she winds up living with this other guy, Felton, but doesn't love him the way she loved Joe. And I love how she's, I tell every man that, like, you're never going to replace this man, because I really loved him. So I think that's really valiant. And maybe you've seen that in your own family. Maybe your parents have that amazing love. Not everybody has it. It's like a once in a lifetime thing. And like, I really love Brian. And it wasn't until I married him I really understood that. But my parents had that amazing love. And my dad just adored my mother. And so maybe you have grandparents or parents where you see and you can understand how much Jane loves Joe. And so you could write about that too. That would be fabulous to write about. You can always make predictions, but I think we're at a place in the book where I don't think we can really make any predictions at this point. So do your journaling, and then I'll meet you right back here for Professor Douglas.